So this episode, we got episode number 3. My main focus here is going to be getting the neck for Fred as close to done as possible. In order to go 100% done, I'm going to need a neck joint. So in order to have that, I'm going to have to get the top walnut piece onto the core of that body. So then I can cut the neck joint. So when I place the neck in, I know where it exactly comes into to fully complete the neck. So I'm going to start on the neck. I'm going to get that neck joint in so I can go. I'll definitely get all the shaping of the back of the neck, probably get the volute finalized, and then the heel I might not get to yet. That might be on the next episode. I might get to it. The other thing I'm planning on is to start striping up the body of No Paint Frank. And that's really going to bring the idea to life of seeing, the stripes, in wood. And that's the main feature really of the whole series. So that'll be cool to see. So that's probably it for this episode. So let's just watch and see how that all unfolds. So I took this neck blank right here. Because it's tapered, I didn't have square edges on here. I shimmed the one side up so I can get my center line to be parallel to the table right here. The other thing I did, this is the first neck I'm doing with templates. I'm making the templates. So this is like kind of, a fender style where it just scoops out instead of tilting back. And I was looking, and I think once I drew it, that I might not have enough drop. I'm going to have a string tree anyway, so it doesn't matter that much. But after I drew it on, I ended up angling it, and I'm pitching this back just barely. I didn't measure an actual degree. I just went based off the thickness of the wood that I had. All right, so I've got this neck kind of rough cut to shape. I got the volute way big. I like playing with that. Like once I get to it and decide, so I'd rather just have too much material. This side I got pretty flat. I didn't get the two parallel to each other yet because if you look at the design, I am going to have to add wood right here. It's not big enough. Right here it's not big enough. And right here. This is only in the way here. I'm just planing a section right there. It's so small, I'm just going to use the number 1. And there we go. Actually, I just thought I'm going to add one little piece of tape here. Just because up here it'll be harder to clean up. It's not going to be under. Double check. Cool. I took the template off. I got a couple measurements and it made most sense to just take the template off and leave the same bit in. So there we go. So it has come to the time to shape the back of this neck. This is the first time I'm doing it without any aid of the CNC. Where normally on the first, I've done 3. I did 1 test neck and I got 2 full necks that I made. I would have most of the shape done on the CNC, so everything's symmetrical, but everything was big, and all I had to do was get it down to it. So this is the first one from square, technically more like a rectangle, but somewhat trapezoidal. So, not that that has any relevance. So I drew some lines on here to start the facets. I'm going to go with the facet technique. I clamped this piece of wood to support the front of the neck, so I can clamp here. And I could do this side. Once I got the first facet here and I flip it, I'm going to have to, I don't know, maybe I can just move the bench because it's going to have to come out the other way. The bench is going to get in the way, so I could maybe support the headstock on that bench for the second half. We'll see what happens. I'm going to be doing it starting out with the Shinto rasp and a flat-soled spoke shave. If I need any measurements, I've got this. I drew some lines, some do not pass lines, so I'm basically going to go this wide. As I taper here, if the side goes farther, that'd be fine. I drew my absolute line. I put it in the body, trace this side so I know the absolute once it gets glued in where it goes to. But I'm not going to work on the transition until after I have basically like first, I didn't even look randomly place. That's 12. It's at about 16, 17 fret of 24. So let me get a good angle for this and start shaping. I keep on not knowing what to call this as we're doing the 2 different guitars at the same time. So since we got no paint Frank, we're going to call this one Fred. So from now on, if I'm referencing a neck or a body, you know, and I say this one's for Fred, that's this one. If I say Frank, it's for the Frankenstein. That's more to keep it straight in my head, so that'll be your reference. So I did the other side, so I've got it faceted on both sides. So I looked at it, and then I made up a place to put a line, and then I'm gonna go from that line that I put on both sides. I'm gonna take this to the inside of the Bubinga, and then here inside the Bubinga. Then I'm gonna look at it and then decide probably one more facet after that. I'll just see how it looks. This is the first time I'm doing it this way, and instead of following like a manual, type of thing, and then I got to re-look it up next time, I'm just going to do what seems natural to me. And if it works out, then every time I do it, that's just the way it's natural for me to do it. So if it works this time, it'll work in the future. So that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so this facet, I'm not even marking. I'm going to go, it's a little hard to see, I could see it because the fretboard itself on the side is walnut and this is walnut, but basically from just close to the fretboard to this line, the edge of the walnuts, I'm only touching walnut. I already did the other side, so I forgot to film it. So I'm going to do one more facet from the center line to about center of the Bubinga stripe. When I lined up all my templates to cut out for this neck, if you remember, I came up just a little bit short of the depth of being able to do a volute or not. So when I added a piece, I just added a random cutoff that I had. So most of this is all coming off. So if you remember on my last build where I did the output, I glued this big hunk of wood and it ended up being this little piece that was about this big. So it's probably just going to be a bridge to bridge between the two Bubinga stripes with Bubinga. So everything from there to there is gone, and here is going to be down to like almost where the stripe is, and it'll be tapered off on the side, so it'll only cover the center. So that's at least the plan. So I'm just going to start taking some of the bulk away before really getting too intricate in shaping. So I got a bunch of bulk off of the end of this. I still want to get that Bubinga on the tip down a little bit so it gets narrower. I want it to not surpass the two Bubinga stripes at all. So right now you can see where the veneer goes through. It stops and restarts. So I want this to bring in so the two veneers you can see go all the way through. So it just bridges the gap of the Bubinga. So I got to come a little farther down, but it's most of the way there. Now just to get an idea of how my ideas come in, as I'm doing this, I got this piece of wood sitting here. It's just like the end from a piece of walnut, live edge. And I look at the side. And that brings this guy out. And I was thinking of the idea, I could play with the angle. What if I use this as a neck blank? It's already wider than I need, so that's good. On the back, if I can get this on at the right area where I can keep approximately 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of live edge before it starts turning into the curve. Do it with a scarf joint so I can take the top, I can get my angle. The live edge becomes on the top when you flip it. flat on the bottom so you can mount tuners to the flat, and you just have to countersink circles for the washer and nut on the top of the tuner, and you get live edge on the face there, on the back of the neck. It's already getting thicker here. If I plan it out right, and that can go in the transition, it'd be fucking ridiculous.
What did you say?
I'm sorry.
That's just a regular amount ridiculous. This is definitely getting put to the side, and I got to think more about a project that I can use that for. But I think at some point in time, that has to happen. Because the neck joint was loose, I'm going to have to make an adjustment on the template for Frank. But with Fred right here, I'm just going to have to fix it. So I got a piece of veneer. It is maple. It's paper backed. I'm going to put the maple touching the maple, so there's less that you notice there. The darker side will be touching where the neck is. So if you see a little bit, the neck right there is walnut anyway. So put the darker side close to the dark side, light side to the light side. Because I'm doing binding, I'm going to end up doing binding around this hole as well to hide this. So get that out of the round. Alright, so that'll glue in. I don't have room to get another clamp on this side. So once I can take this off, got another piece of veneer for here. I could squeeze the neck in real tight with those on there like that. So that should fix this one. I got the Bubinga glued up to the limba. So now it's ready to put a little Frank into this Frankenstein. Totally important wearing safety glasses. This stuff splashes. I felt some here, and it's like kind of burning my eyes and didn't even hit my eye. And I'm pretty sure it hit here too. So you're gonna want this for whenever you're hammering in this thin super glue. I've done it before and it splashes. Okay, I got all the stripes in there. I'm going to surface it. I'm just going to run this by hand. It's actually faster than setting a program and running a file. Except I got to stand here and do the whole thing. But I think I'm going to do one where I'm not even going to touch the Bubinga and just skim off most of the extra wood that sticks up. And then hopefully just one clean pass over the whole thing, and we'll get a decent look of what this is going to look like. So you can see this episode really put a little perspective into how far behind my videos are compared to the work time. You notice Christmas music in there. So that's from the week before Christmas. So that puts us about 5 weeks ago that I did the stuff that you're seeing today. Also, you saw Fred get named for the first time. technically that was the first time. You've already heard it, but those videos were done after that one was done. So in the progression of working, that's when it was named. So little fun fact, I guess. So we're gonna keep rolling. That the neck was looking good. I can't, because I'm that late, I can't show you like this is what I did. But again, putting things into perspective, we'll do a little spoiler alert. Damn, see, we're a lot actually farther than you thought. Got this guy. Yeah. See this? Can't see too much. So not much of a spoiler, but it's proof. Got a lot more done than I could prove by accessible video. Thanks for watching.